he's setting up his cards. I start opening up these big boxes and start putting out Wizard of Oz and Catwoman toys. You gotta say, we're juniors in high school. Brandon looks over and goes, I'm done. I go, this is the future. The book I'm coming out with early next year is called Crushed It. It's a follow-up.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that.
And the reason I'm doing it is, you're right, man. Like, I don't think I ever want to get too far away from, there's a real correlation between doing things around your favorite things. It's just easier when shit is bad. Like, I'm looking forward to the 0-16 Jets season. Like, I really think that everybody who's listening has been passionate about some sort of thing in their lives. Something. Whether it was Atari. Do Steve Adobato's show. Classic New York personality. A little bit of a gloomy day here in New York. Got a bunch of interesting meetings. Feeling really tight. For example, Pokemon. If you read Crush It in 2009, and you decided to build the blog, which later became the video blog, which later became the podcast around Pokemon. A lot of people, that was like an era where Pokemon was in the culture, but not too crazy. Just Pokemon, right? If you became the foremost Pokemon gal, Sally the Pokemon gal, and you just owned it, and you were just getting by. You had to have a side job, but you'd go to Comic-Con, you'd show up at shows, you'd get an occasional weird $500 sponsorship on your blog, but you were a good business person, and you actually made a little bit more, and you're trucking along. And then Pokemon Go comes out, and you're now on CNN and on Fox and in all these places, and now you're getting paid $5,000 to give a talk about it. Like, the world would have walked into you instead of you walking to where the money is. Everybody who's listening right now is looking for trends. Oh, these spinners are cool. They're trying to walk to where the world is now, and by the time they get there, the world moved on. If you go to your thing and set a fucking flag on your thing, I genuinely believe that there's a lot of moments where the world comes to you. Every kid I grew up with who got talked out of playing video games because they had to be a doctor or lawyer by their parents could have had the talent to make $10 million a year being an esports star. But in 1988 to 1993, who the hell knew that esports was coming? You're welcome. Love it. Amazing.
So when Crushed It comes out,
yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something.
Great stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Take care, guys. How bad? Cool. Take care, man.
See, I've heard it all before. They know not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make more. They'll come knocking on my door.
Random thought. One thing I've been very fascinated about with Snapchat is their non-adjustment to something that I think is very important, which is what Facebook has done in their environment on Facebook and Instagram has given users the option to be able to do all forms of content, short, long, long video, short video, written, pictures. I think that the platforms have merged into each other, right? Facebook has merged into where YouTube and Snapchat has played and has become a complete publishing content infrastructure. And I think for anybody that's gonna compete at the highest levels independently, whether it's Google or Apple or Snapchat or anybody else, Amazon, anybody else or somebody who emerges tomorrow, the next Snapchat or Instagram, they're gonna have to give flexibility to the users. I think you start with something narrow and then you build on top of it. I think we forget that you start with something narrow and you build on top of it. McDonald's had 3 products when they started. You know, a drink, fries, and a burger. And I think that, a feature from Instagram, a picture and a filter is great. And I think Snapchat was incredible, which is why it caught traction. But I do think that there's a maturity level. It's kind of the way I think about VaynerMedia. What we did with 30 people, culturally, output, changes at 80, changes at 800. I think people hold on to things romantically that got them there, without realizing the thing that's going to get them to the next level is to break the thing that got them there. And so I have no insight into what Snapchat's thinking about more flexibility, but I'm sitting here, this is why I had the thought, I want to do some content for Snapchat, but I'd like a little more flexibility. I love what I can do there, but when the consumers have an alternative, and that's what stories in Instagram have done for them, I think you need to build out. Like, I want to make a 6-minute video for Snapchat right now. I do. Something to think about in a macro. I use this Snapchat example as the framework for the macro, which is please don't allow yourself to not evolve on top of the thing that got you there. I believe that there's very good entrepreneurs in the market, and I do believe that their apps and businesses are underpriced because they're in the market of Dublin. And so I think that's an opportunity. It's not that I'm this great, noble American entrepreneur who wants to be fair to everybody in Dublin. It's because I actually think I can get a good deal, because I think people do underestimate other parts of the world not named Silicon Valley. That's correct. When you build a lot of businesses, they don't impact your future businesses, right? If I built Starbucks, I wasn't gonna be able to build, like, to me, what I've been trying to do is build something that is useful for me in other and future behaviors, and that excites me, and I think I'm on my way. I like attention, like I'm so, you know how flattering it is to take a selfie? I like all that, but I also like when you talk and a lot of people listen, it allows you as the talker to listen because you get a lot of feedback, and I learn from my community every day. I get consumer insights at scale. I have listen, like I said, back to what we were just talking about, eventually the work is gonna prove itself. Like, I didn't by accident invest in Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Uber, Snapchat before a lot of other people even knew it existed. That is not by accident. I mean, this is something nobody talks about because it's lost in history. I didn't by accident bet the farm on Australian, Spanish, and New Zealand wines when nobody else was doing that, right? I'm not hanging out with these influencers and up and coming hip hop celebrities and artists for kicks and giggles. It's not happening by accident. I think to your point, the thing that I like is I've noticed a lot of times brands, humans add more fire by jumping in. So I do think trading it, I think being prepared for whatever the response, if there's momentum back to us being concerned about it, is important. But I think watching it every second, and ironically, I do believe 9 out of every 10 times, I mean, the news cycles in our society today are stunningly short. Make sure I have the macro. Great, awesome. Hi.
Hey, Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be on. So I'm an entrepreneur, born in Belarus in the former Soviet Union, came to the US when I was 3. I think quality is actually tied up in people's ego, right? I think people like to think they know. And so quality is subjective, right? Like, I love the glasses you're wearing right now, by the way, little quick compliment. Others may not. And so things are subjective, right? And so I value speed over quality because quality is fake before it goes out, and speed isn't.
Gary, patience is a big thing that you promote, and it's one of the biggest things that we struggle with. How does somebody stay patient?
I'm not sure, to be honest. What I would say is this though, you have no option. Patience is practical. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know, it's gonna play out the way it's gonna play out. Like, and I would also say, try to put yourself in a position to do what you love, right? Like, I feel like I'm so in love with the process of being an entrepreneur that I'm even slowing down my financial impact because I love it, right? I love holding out for it. It's, you know, I often make the joke, like, I love the foreplay of entrepreneurship, right? Like, it's a long process. Like, I love that. You know, I love it so much I want it to last forever. I secretly don't want to buy the jets, right? Because I feel like the game that I put out in front of me would then be accomplished. So, you know, I think that I think that loving what you do allows you to love the process, which then allows you to be massively patient. If you're doing this because you want $1 million, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, ever since day one, been on a mission to get these people what they want. They all need it, got them lining up like lunch. Right. Fuck coming in number twos, I'm making number ones. Yeah, nigga, I'm really real, I'm like really good as they come. 155, but my heart weighs a fucking ton. I leave them crispy, and it's only fucking begun.
So what can I help you with?
Picture me falling off, these other niggas like, huh? Wait, what?
So let's have John K, Brandon, you and Danny here in my office for 30, in not next week, but the following week. We should also, D-Rock, we should also make a Facebook commercial. You take the lead with Brandon and Andy. Let's get it done. But I want like get somebody at Vayner to act. Cool.
Yeah, when we first started this, it was just,
I remember.
we need to use the email.
I remember. All right, let's do it, Dan. Now, what's it gonna cost me? What's the family discount? Whether that bias is true or not, here's what I can tell you. There's never been an ad agency, and that's what we are. We just happen to look the part of something a little bit different. Yes. That is more committed to the end result than this company. And I think that if you peel away a lot of what's going on, a lot of what's manifested, I do not believe or anybody decided this. I think this is human behavior of running businesses over the long term. The thought that there are humans that work at these agencies that have the audacity to think that they've synthesized the proper strategy, and then they are the unique couple of human beings that get to interpret it, because it is 100% humanly subjective. And then they are another group of human beings within that same organization are the ones that get to interpret the insights and strategy into a creative output. And that the cost associated with that and the distribution of that is smart business in 2017 runs the gamut of obnoxious audacity to downright stupidity. Literally the noble rationale to why I'm so excited about this investment, I'm mainly most excited because it's not very noble, because I think you're gonna build a big fucking company and I wanna make money. But the noble part is I genuinely believe in this in a real way. And I don't think it's just, Upper East Side moms that the whole world should do this. When I say it, I'm being selfish because I already know firmly it's gonna be. And so I want the historical, I say it not because of the investment, I made the investment because of it. I say it because I know it's gonna happen. And I believe that you guys are operators and you will figure, when I tell you that it could end up being $1 billion fashion brand, great, I'm agnostic. I just know it's gonna happen. Team's broken up in a lot of different ways. Chris's world, which is on Chris is actually the only one in this here that's on the influencer team at VaynerMedia proper, which works with brands and things of that nature. Gabe runs a small business. Gabe runs the division that charges brands $25,000, $30,000 a month for doing what VaynerMedia used to do, now does for millions. We're going back to small business. I wanted him to meet in case in 5 or 7 or 9 months you guys decide to do this, or we feel like we're really rolling. I feel like we've just finally got it. And then Andy and Dunker on my team, it's art, but it's math and art. That's what we've built here. That's why this is special. It's the first machine agency that gives a fuck about Zynga and Nike, right? It gives a fuck about Living Social and Groupon, it respects that, but also knows that if you don't make a Where's the Beef commercial, you're also vulnerable. If it was all math, Silicon Valley would have won a long time ago.
Yeah, right.
Got it? It's a pleasure. How are things?
Yeah.
Hey. What's up? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you as well.
Hi.
Naomi. I've been here.
How are you? It's good to see you.
For sure.
What are you guys doing in town?
Oh gosh, a lot of things. I came in for an appearance, and then I had Complex Magazine and my meetings and.
That's awesome. Very cool. And so how long have you two guys been working together?
2 years.
About 2 years now, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How did it all start for you?
Social media kind of kickstarted it for me.
I love it. And so what is, like, always my kind of first instinct, is there anything, you know, I assume you guys have context from I know you have some context. Is there anything that potentially I can help you guys with? Anything stand out? Anything as you guys are navigating through this that I could be a help with? Like, look, there's a reason I have the $1 Million Man action figure here. When he was in wrestling in the 80s, he said everybody's got a price. I think it's important for you to price in a way that speaks against your strategy. Here's what I mean by that. You're being selective with brands. I have a funny feeling you're gonna spend a lot of times trying to justify why you like XYZ brand if they offered you $1 million for one post.
Right, what you're saying.
So what I'm saying there is you should come up with a pricing strategy of what's the number that gets you to start debating, and you should actually price that way. Because then you have all the leverage.
Yeah.
Got it?
Smart.
So that would be like a pricing strategy. So appearance, you got paid to appear somewhere.
Yeah.
How much of that do you want to do or not want to do?
I mean, I love it.
that's
'cause
awesome.
I get to like meet people in person.
Honestly, I think that she should do whatever the fuck she wants, and then she'll dominate. I'm worried that she's overthinking and holding back certain shit that she wants. 1 minute, I promise. I think that she's holding back a thing or two because she's smart and she understands what the audience wants. So it's not that I want her to do something, it's that I want her to do what she actually wants to be doing. Got it? It's a subtle little thing there, right? Like, I don't think every woman should be about empowering other women. If that's what they love, then they should do that.
Yep.
Like, she might love sports, she might like cuisine. Like, I think she just needs to be her, because that will create so many more avenues.
Right.
And that's what the cliche move that people with your size influence and your genre and your look aren't doing enough of, which is why they're getting commoditized. It's why I tell all the media people that have meme accounts, if you are making fucking videos with white tops and lettering, you're just commoditized. I have no idea which account it is. They're all the fucking same. Got it? Like filming you with 3 people for a minute in some sort of business setting or casual setting, more of you. The reality TV stars that are winning the most have a lot of looks. That show would not work if it was the same scene over and over.
Yeah, that's true.
Got it?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot to, there's clearly a lot potentially for you to share. So it's more of that, right? Like your version is what I think people are making mistakes of, which is they're picking a platform that's trendy and they're going with it and they're winning in the short term and they're gonna lose in the long term. Right? I just wanna know every aspect about her and I want that in play. It's why I'm winning the most.
See, I've heard it all.
Okay, go to your page.
Awesome, nice meeting you guys.
Not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make more. And they'll come knocking on my door. See, I've heard it all before. They know not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make more. Yeah, they'll come knocking on my door. Yo, doggy, do? You talking shit and all, and that's cool. Cool story, bro. But yo, you can't deny the simple fact that I rule. And that's why I'm a star and you're still stuck in school? Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's like yellow people, they talk a lot. Little dogs in the parking
Yes, I'll
lot.
do that.
Me, I'm making hits from when it's sun up till it's dark a lot. Now I'ma keep them rolling, shout out my nigga Granola. And I'm just beating up the beat until I leave you CD swelling, See, I've heard it all before. They know not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make more. And they'll come knocking on my door.
The fuck? Nathan, what are you doing?
I'm learning a little bit.
I mean, it's about time you learned something.
See, I've heard it all before. They know not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make more. And they'll come knocking on my door.
I'm going to a 3-hour meeting, and then I'm seeing Brandon Warnicki, who along with my dad is running Wine Library.
Heard it all before.
Talk a little Wine Library stuff, and then
Not of
heading home.
what's in store. This is
Good
a
day,
hit and
productive.
I'll make more.
You've been filming all day, right? Yeah. Anything interesting?
See, I've heard it all before. They know not of what's in store. This is a hit and I'll make
Top
more.
secret meeting
They'll
with a
come
yellow ghost.
knocking on my door.
I remind everybody, I don't say I'm the best skier in the world. I don't say that shit.
It was like what you were saying the other day. It was like you talk shit, but you back it up.
I talk shit about the most narrow of things, which is, it's the dollar rack. You don't know about the dollar rack. Me and Brandon did a card show. There was these new racks that came out that you could put cards in. I bought a couple. It was like a nice display thing for your table. Our lives were our table. Your Instagram account was our tables that we rented at a card show. And we would try to make it really good. And I bought this rack, and I put the dollar rack. And then I put cards that were worth 80 to $1.20, 80 cents to $1.20. And I would really set it up nice. And Brandon, the best part of mine and Brandon's career as 14-year-olds was, this is basically the same sitcom every episode, which would be, we would show up once a month for some new show. I would have some cockamanian idea. It'd be 7 a.m. We'd be drinking, like eating donuts. And Brandon would be making fun of the idea of like, this is the stupidest, and to his credit, he'd be like, listen, your stuff normally works, but this idea has no chance. And then 3 hours later, it'd be 11 a.m., and all these people would be at the dollar rack being like, I'll take 3 of these, 5 of these, and he would be next to me, and he'd be like,
forget too, I worked for like a perfect display, everything was neat and organized, and like, they would film it every time.
except one show. Clinton Holiday Inn. Oh, North Hunterdon High School. Out of nowhere, my guidance counselor, who never spoke to me, I spoke to her. She never spoke to my mom never spoke to her. The only baseball card show that our high school had in 4 years. Huge. It was like Coachella showing up to your house. It was the only baseball card show at our high school, and they had a Phillies second baseman, Mickey Morandini, show up. We prepped mentally for months and physically for weeks. It's the Wednesday before the show. We both pay for our tables. And my guidance counselor calls my mom and tells her that I'm a piece of shit. I mean, I don't know what she said, but she basically said, your son has no future. My mom grounds me and doesn't allow me to do the baseball card show. Brandon, I'll never forget this. You know, no cell phones back then, so I had to wait for Brandon to come home, and I'm calling. The show was Saturday. The show was like from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm calling, I know he'd be home by 6:30, but I'm calling starting at 4:30. Maybe he came home, you know, and the old school, like, I called 100 times. Finally, I get a hold of him at like 7:55 that night. And he's the best guy. I'm like, hey. He's like, how you doing? Like, he's the best. How you doing? I'm like, fucking, this is the worst. I'm like, how'd it go? He goes, I had the best day of my career. I sold every Frank Thomas Stadium Club, every Frank Thomas Leaf. He just goes nuts. He like crushed it. No, the end of your career was the Old Bridge fire station. You were out. We do a show. Remember when I talk? You've heard this, where I talk about I sold all my cards and bought toys and comic books. The show where I unveiled it was the end of his career. So we do the show. It's at a fire station in a small town. I didn't tell Brandon that I had this strategy. He's setting up his cards. I start opening up these big boxes and start putting out Wizard of Oz and Catwoman toys. You gotta say, we're juniors in high school. Brandon looks over and goes, I'm done. I go, this is the future. Comic, I literally was like nerd culture. I mean, I nailed that. Like in hindsight, I fucking nailed it. As a nobody thought about Marvel movies and Star Wars. I fucking nailed it. But we're juniors in high school. Like, we now care about girls. Like, we're like different now. And Brandon's barely holding on to even do baseball card shows, because that's nerdy enough. And here I'm like the craziest. I'm like putting out like the Smurf toys. I'm like, Gargamel, what's the problem? We did this show, me, him, and the owner of a baseball card store in his town. So he's like the real dealer in the middle. I'm to the right, Brandon's to the left. We have so many classics from that story. Including, I bought a case of shitty 1990 Donruss cards. And they both shit on me. They were like laughing at me when I bought the case. I bought the whole case for like $40. There was like 10 boxes, or 20 bucks. 20 bucks, 180. I'm sorry, I bought the whole box for $80. And it was the worst set of all time.
You gotta understand, you had the complete set, 1990.
Donruss.
1990 Donruss.
Bernie Williams was the best card, and it was $1.80.
Yeah, if you bought the whole set of like 600 cards, the most valuable card was like worth 35. It was literally just paper garbage. Like there was no reason to buy it.
So I buy a case from a guy. A case, 20 boxes worth. And then I take a thing like this, and I write a sign, Donruss. 1990 boxes. I'm actually going to replicate it. Bernie Williams rookies. And then who knows?
Worth like a dot.
And then I was like, Griffey, Bonds. I just wrote names. Clemens. And then I wrote, this is where he lost his mind. I wrote 1999 X'd out. $9 a box. This is literally what I did.
It wasn't worth $1 a box.
And then I put it, and then the boxes. And they were like, when I tell you the two of them were like, literally like schoolgirls at a playground being like, like it had no chance. Literally over the next 3 hours, that stack of boxes was gone. People, I'll take a box, I'll take a box, I'll take a box, I'll take a box.
No way.
Creative is the variable of success. Creative is the variable of success. I'm gonna take a picture of this and post it on my Snapchat. Everything's the same thesis, which is how do you stop somebody who's busy and has choices? How do you stop them from other options and pick you? And that's what I do in a feed, right? Why do people stop for my shit on Instagram? Great night with Brandon. We're supposed to get a wine library work done, but we talked about old baseball card war stories. D-Rock, you have to basically edit that entire baseball card war stories into a video because we need that for history. Brandon's kids need to know what kind of warrior he was. Good night, got a lot done. Good day, feeling good. That's it, got nothing else.
No, it's a beautiful thing when a loser gets to live his dreams. You know, it's especially when you think there's not many of us video game dudes who end up like me. And I mean, it's hard being a teen and just thinking like, fuck, I want to sing. But I guess it's weird, and I should have something to fear because I was writing plays instead of pounding beers. I told God, tell me what you want me to be, and I'll be it. There's a light, and I see it. I swear it's true, you know, through these tunes and awkward dance moves, I can show it to you.